Hello, everybody out there on YouTube. We are the Middle-Aged Guys, and we're going to be continuing our episodic reviews of all of the episodes of Young Justice. Episodic reviews of all the episodes. Redundancy is redundant. Okay, this particular video right here is going to be covering Season 1, Episode number 19, which is entitled Misplaced, and that originally aired out March 3rd, 2012. Before we get any further, let me go ahead and get the introductions out of the way. I'm the Reverend.
The Theme here.
And I'm Grey Mouse 1.
Like I said, this particular episode is called Misplaced, and it aired out March 3rd, 2012. Now, if you were paying attention, close attention, boys and girls, you would have heard in the previous video that Secrets aired out in November 18th, 2011. So, why the huge break, mid-season? Because Cartoon Network is fucking retarded. Okay, that's really the only reason why. All right, and so this is the first video or episode that they aired out after the huge break, and actually, it's a pretty good one. No spoiler warnings, like usual. The episode is close to 6 years old right now, and after we do a short synopsis, we're going to do our standard 3 talking points: what we liked about the episode, what we didn't like about the episode, or if there was anything that we wanted to go ahead and change, what we would change. And then, finally, if we noticed anything that serves as a reference or a setup to a future episode or storyline that's coming down the pike. Okay, let me go ahead and get the synopsis out of the way, real quick and dirty. The episode opens up with Clarion the Witch Boy meeting up in this open crossroads, and he ends up summoning to his side other magical characters from the DC universe, including Wizard, Wotan, Felix Faust, and Blackbriar Thorn, and they start chanting a spell. Long story short, what ends up happening is that this spell that they cast creates a dimensional rift, a split in the reality of dimension reality, where the adults, anybody who's 18 and over as an adult, exists in one portion of reality, and anybody who is a child, under 18, exists in another portion of reality. Obviously, this sends the whole world into fucking chaos and everything. And the only hero that is associated with the team right now that can actually cope with the situation as it is, and figures out that he can cope with the situation as it is Billy Batson, also known as Captain Marvel. He figures out that, hey, look, all of the adults have disappeared. I have to get to Happy Harbor. I don't want to turn into Captain Marvel, because if I do, I'll turn into an adult. That means I could disappear. Yep. And he really doesn't know at the time that, if disappearing means that he goes someplace else, or if he just ceases to exist. Because he's thinking that pretty much all the adults have ceased to exist. At the same time, the adults and the senior members of the Justice League who are there at the cave, they notice that everywhere around the world they're getting news reports that all of the children have disappeared. And because of that, people are rioting, they're doing really crazy, stupid shit. And basically bedlam is happening all over the place. And Zatara, just like Zatanna, in both the realities, figures that, look, this is probably a magical spell, and whoever is doing this is really wielding some hefty magical powers in order to get something like this to happen. Well, through the witty actions of Billy Batson, he's able to actually get in contact with both the team, Young Justice, and also their elder mentors in the Justice League. And through that, they go ahead and they coordinate basically a counterattack to go ahead and disrupt the spell that has split the dimensions into the adults and the children. They go ahead and they start carrying out the plan, and during the fight, after they determine, hey, look, the gem which is in the center of the power pentagram, that's the key to everything. We have to go ahead and destroy that gem or remove it from the center of the pentagram in order to go ahead and break the spell. At that moment in time, Zatanna ends up donning the helmet of fate. Naboo, Dr. Fate, goes ahead. He makes his appearance. On the side of the children, they get a hold of the gem on one side. On the side of the adults, they get a hold of the gem on the other side. They bring the realities together and they break the spell. At which time it reunites everybody in the universe. You know, basically the senior Justice League members with all the members of the team, and you know, Clarion the Witch Boy. He goes, "Well, it was fun you know, as long as it lasted." And he decides to get the fuck out of there. He's like, "I'll see you guys later, unless I see you first." And then he just bounces out. However, it turns out that, you know, even though they've won and they've broken the spell, that, you know, just going out of the way and donning the helmet of fate, it comes with a price. And Naboo initially does not want to go ahead and release Zatanna from the hold of the helmet. Since, in his words, she's, you know, she has a natural affinity for the magical arts. She's already partially trained. She's young. She's pretty much the perfect candidate to serve as a host for Dr. Fate. At which time Zatara goes ahead and he says, "Hey, look, take me instead." And what happens is that he basically sacrifices his own normal life to take his daughter's place as Dr. Fate, and he dons the helmet. The episode ends up, all the families are reunited except for the fact that Zatanna, who is now part of the team, she's pretty much living at the at the cave with everybody else. She's there, and just like a lot of DC superheroes, she ain't got no parents no more. And that's pretty much how it ends. Was there anything that I missed?
No.
You did good.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into our first talking point. Guys, in this episode, what did you notice that you liked? Floor is open.
This was a very, very fun episode, but it was a very fucked up episode once you think about the conditions involved. I mean, damn. Snap. Fuck, either your child is gone or your parents are gone. Or your adults just disappear. Like, where do you go from there? Really? I'm not going to say no more for right now. I like the concept of the whole episode because of the plot. Gray Mouse, what about you?
To answer your question is, you party like it's 1999. As a kid, you have no parents. I mean, how many times have you thought that time when you're growing up that, man, I just wish I could make my parents disappear?
And if you have younger siblings?
But
what do you do then?
The part that I liked about was that the Justice League, or the Young Justice, actually finally know who Billy Batson is now. And that was great. I was like, oh, you tied that in up nicely in a nice bow and present. I was like, yes. It took, of course, it did take Kid Flash a moment to figure it out. He's always the last person, I swear, man, to figure stuff out.
Well, initially he didn't believe it.
Yeah, but everybody else like, what? Now that's one part that I like.
Was there anything else you wanted to go ahead and throw on that pile before I jump in?
Okay,
go ahead. I'm sure that we'll come back.
There's a whole bunch to throw on this pile, but I don't want to just start talking and just take everybody else's points. Yeah. Go ahead, Rev.
All right. If it's not obvious, one of the things that we've stated many times about a lot of the episodes is that they didn't just go ahead and reach into the grab bag of, oh, these are the folks that are out of Batman's rogue gallery. These are the folks out of Superman's rogue gallery. Okay, they went ahead and they've really reached back and they've gotten hold of, a wide variety of villains from all over the place. With this particular episode, they concentrated on the magical villains. You know, like I said, Clarion the Witch Boy, Wizard, Wotan, Felix Faust, Blackbriar Thorn. Those are the villains, okay? And then on the hero side, you have Zatara, Zatanna, Captain Marvel, and Dr. Fate. Okay, so yeah, huge spectrum of characters and heroes and villains alike. There was a lot of dialogue that was awesome. The whole mirror dialogue of, in one panel, Kid Flash and Aqualad sitting there asking each other, so how desperate are we?
How desperate are we?
Yeah, and then, flashing over to the adult side of the dimension or the divide of the dimensions, Zatara is sitting there with Batman looking at the helmet of the Fate, and then Zatara asking, "So, how desperate are we?" It pretty much really pointed out, these guys, even though they're separated, by alternate dimensions, many years between them, they're very they already know what they're up against, and they already know, okay, if worse comes to worse, this is something that we can get to. But if we do end up getting to this, it's not going to come without a cost. Okay? Because the thing is, Naboo, he is not even paid to play. He is paid to show. Just getting him out of the box, you have to pay something. Okay? That's just how it is. All right? Yeah, I'd have to say, generally speaking, the dialogue in this particular episode is grand all the way around, and it is complemented by great action scenes. I got to say that I almost expect that as the norm as far as it goes for this particular set of episodes. But yeah, this is definitely one of the funner episodes that they've actually gone ahead and done up until this point in the season. All right.
I want to throw something on the pile as well on this.
Sure.
Since we're still talking, it actually took Naboo a lot of. Maybe it's because it was Zatanna.
Yeah.
That said it. That it took a lot of faith, and that he would actually, don the helmet. Because I thought that was very deep as well. I was like, wow,
He did give his word.
Yeah, exactly.
He did some type of magical spell to secure his word.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I mean, I just wanted to acknowledge that because, the previous episodes with Naboo, he wants something in return. I mean, it's just like, because he wouldn't give the person who donned the helmet up. He wouldn't even give up Kid Flash at one point,
Yeah. At first,
he almost didn't give up Aqualad, according to the conversation that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, this is definitely again, this is one of those examples of where if this particular episode happened, if this wasn't episode 19, if this was episode 9, I don't think the weight of the things that happen and occur in the episode, it definitely wouldn't have the same sort of consequences, all right, or the same sense of weight to it, all right. But that's not to say that this episode is perfect. I got to say that it's really damn close in my view, but it's I'm pretty sure that we could probably find something, even if it is just a nitpick. What in this particular episode did you not like, or you would change? Is there anything about the episode you would change if you had a chance, guys?
Not necessarily change, but I have a couple of nitpicks. Nitpick number 1. So you're telling me Red Tornado, an android, would actually be seen as an adult and actually disappear? Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, what if someone from the adult side also donned the Dr. Fate helmet? What would I have done? Because, yes, Zatanna donned it, but the adults left it. So, if everything would have went back to normal, what? If they both would have been Dr. Fate?
Well, to answer that question more or less, I mean, like when they were bringing the worlds together, both Zatanna and Dr. Fate kind of brought it together with the crystal. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I was going to mention that earlier. Yeah. I was going to mention that earlier that there was a paradox there that I've noticed as well. I mean, did Dr. Fate's helmet, it existed, obviously existed in both worlds. Mm-hmm. But what would happen if it did?
Well, Clarion does address it at the fact that, it seemed
you're
like...
You're not all here, Naboo, right.
He did.
He did address it during the episode.
Right. But I was like, wait, what if that would have happened? But as far as my gripes, it doesn't go any further than that.
Yeah. What about you, Game Master? About to say?
For me, I'm a little different. I would have liked a little more interaction with the magical villains, say something, please. Don't just chant a spell. And then on the other side too, I mean, Red Tornado, he didn't say anything, you know, and it's like, wait a minute. I was like, I just feel that there's no point in having them in the scene if they don't say something or contribute to the conversation. But I do understand on the flip side of that, I do understand that maybe the voice actor for that particular character was not there at that particular recording time, you know, and they couldn't get the guy's voice, and I can understand that, you know. But it's kind of, you know, it's a nitpick that if you're going to have these people in the scene, and especially the magical villains, they played a major part in the episode. You know, I mean, because of them, they started, you know, but I just wish that there was more interaction, you know, with them. I'm just a dialogue person. I like to hear the dialogue.
Yeah. Well, that's like Zataro. You know, the only reason why he even knew the crystal was the master thing in play was he actually, you know, had a spell that summoned lightning, and he fucking blasted the 4 mythical magicians that were there, you know, the sorcerers. Then, yeah, so he figured that out. So,
you know, when you're watching it, you got to realize. I mean, as you know, when you watch it the first time, it don't really sink in. But then after you watch it, like the Reverend says a million times, you know, it's said it ever since we've started these reviews. You start to pick up on little tiny things, you know. And I'm like, wait a minute, did Red Tornado need to be in there at all? I mean, did he need to be there? I mean, you know, he didn't contribute. All he did was did a little Red Tornado to lift up a box.
No, he was a part of the battle. He was.
Yeah, he was part of the battle because it was only those 3 that were available. All the rest of the Justice
I'm just saying he could have said something.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing is that, you know, now that you bring that up, I pretty much had a really hard time trying to find something that I didn't like about this. But it does, the funny thing is that it does become really, really obvious, all right? It's like, okay, which characters in this particular episode or throughout this whole season or this whole series, which character shows up, all right? Which of them are just fodder characters? Well, you get the answer really obvious because they don't say anything, all right? They're just pretty much window dressing at a point, okay, where they're there in the background, all right? Maybe they're chanting a spell, or maybe they're like Captain Cold, and the only thing they go ahead and that they say during their whole episode is and then they get fucking knocked out, you know.
Well, this is the second time we've seen Wotan.
Yeah, you know,
at least he's now a returning character.
Yeah, you know, but he very much fits the bill as far as what's going on. I would have to say it's probably the other side of the coin whenever you're dealing with like this huge ensemble set of characters gathering together, especially with the way that they go ahead and they set these things up. It's just, again, it's kind of like it's a flaw that you don't notice unless you watch these episodes multiple times, like we have up until this point, especially when you're trying to pay attention to details to go ahead and do a review. All right. Other than that, really, for this particular episode, it's really, really tight. I'd have to say that there isn't a lot to sit there and complain about. In fact, it does actually serve very well into going ahead and setting up further episodes. You know, we've got like 7 episodes left in this particular season, and also even into the future for that matter. What are the sort of things that you noticed in this particular episode, guys, that you know serves as a setup or a reference point for something that's going to come down in the future?
Man, oh man. First of all, now Dr. Fate is there. He's not just going to be a trophy or a souvenir as far as the helmet. Yeah. I say he'll put him to good use. He made him a fucking souvenir. Then fucking Aqualad donned him. And okay, we've seen the return of Clarion. Then there was some things that happened in the background that resulted the reason why they were doing this in the first place.
Yeah.
But Grey Mouse and Rev, I want you to cover those because they're fairly obvious, and I just don't want to take any more time.
There's a lot that went on in the background. I mean, the whole reason why this was done in the first place. I find that very interesting. It's connecting other stories from the previous episodes, and I mean, now that I guess Dr. Fate is a Justice League member now. And he's going to be in some future episodes that are rather comical, later when they decide on who to put new members into the Justice League.
Oh Lord.
I'm just saying.
Can't wait for that review.
I'm just saying that was Anyway, What about you, Reverend?
Okay, the one thing that I love about this particular series is that it is a very tight series. A lot of the episodes are interwoven together. Just like before, I'm going to cheat a little bit. This particular episode harkens back to the Revelation episode, where they're replaying when Zatara went ahead and he cast a spell to go ahead and locate the Injustice League. All right. Yep. So that was there, and I always love it whenever they go ahead and they call back to something earlier. The other thing that's really amazing about this particular episode, and that also serves as a reference for things that are coming up, is that when you sit there and at the end of the day, if you paid attention to all the details, you realize that this particular episode wasn't a magical battle episode. All right. It was actually a heist episode. You're like, wow, that's pretty fucking impressive.
Yeah.
All right. Because the whole purpose, the whole reason why they went ahead and they caused all this chaos and everything was to create a distraction for the Riddler, Edward Nygma, to go ahead and infiltrate the Star Labs. All right. In order to go ahead and retrieve the remnant of Starro from Star Labs, and to go ahead and bring that back into the Light's possession and everything. And that by itself is rather genius. Because the thing is that when you start taking that into account for other things that happen further into the series and everything, certain things happen that seem kind of out of place, where a few episodes later you're like, oh wow, that's the reason why they did that. And this is one of those particular episodes right here where it pays off in spades. All right. I'm
actually surprised you didn't mention that one of your most favorite characters.
Which one? Go ahead.
Vive la France.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the Brain, he shows up, but he's got like one line right at the end. Okay.
Yeah.
But he's sitting there and he's got Monsieur Mala right next to him and everything else, and he's going to be working on the starter tech and all of that. And it's great, but yeah, like I said, there's a whole bunch of things that this particular episode went ahead and set up, and with the pace of the episodes are going for the rest of this particular season, like I said, we've got about 7 episodes left until we finish up season 1. A lot of the things that they're setting up do come to fruition, and they do become very obvious really, really soon. All right, let's go ahead and give our final ratings, guys, on a scale of yay, nay, or meh. What would you give this particular episode?
A hell yay. That's all I'm really going to say to now until the end of it. Grey Mouse, what about you?
I also will give it a yay. And the reason for that is just connecting the dots from certain storylines and bringing back certain things, like when how they adjusted or how they found the Injustice League, and it kind of shows that,
Yeah.
It kind of shows that she's ready. she's ready to be a member of the team now. Although she had to be coaxed by Robin to do it. But nonetheless, you know, I mean, he encouraged her, you know, like, you've got to at least try. And she succeeded, you know. But, I mean, I kind of like the way she said that, you know, it's not just waving your hand and saying special words or anything. And there's a little bit more to it. So, I mean, just that little block of dialogue, it was, and connecting the dots from the previous episodes, hell yeah. I give it a hell yeah.
No surprise, it's a yay for me also. This, you know what, I was about to say that the last 3 episodes, I would, if, especially given the whole kids and adults theme, I was about to name them the LMNOP episodes. But the thing is that, we had secrets.
Wow.
You know, shoved in right before this particular one, where it was like, literally, when you sit there and you look at the whole thing of fail-safe, disordered, it's like home run, then secrets, where it's like, it's not a bad episode, but it's forgettable. All right. Mm-hmm. It literally, it's the only episode in the whole season where I think if you removed it, there is absolutely no loss at all to the season as a whole. And then you have Misplaced. Okay. That, like I said, that would have been my LMNO, all right, as far as it goes. But it's like, you know, this is, when you're building momentum like this, the only reason why this works is that the folks who went ahead and put together this particular episode and the whole series, they knew where they wanted to go, okay? Yeah. Even before they put pen to paper for the first fucking episode in this whole series, okay? They knew where they wanted to go. And episode 19 falls right in line with everything else. Mm-hmm. And you have a good creative team here that knows what they're doing. They know what they're working toward. And by this time, as a watcher, you're sitting there, you're watching, and you're like, I'm fully invested. You know, they've got me by this time. Okay? Which, like I said, it's a yay. It's definitely a yay. Was there anything else we wanted to go ahead and throw on the pile before we go ahead and wrap this one up? Go ahead, Dave.
I will. Now I can unleash. They did a lot of throwbacks in this episode, not only to specific episodes from this series, but even from a couple of things that have to do with Superman. And, okay, let me elaborate. Yeah. It's kind of funny how every once in a while you'll see a school bus about to fall off a fucking bridge and someone actually puts it back. Yeah, that actually happens in this episode. It happened in episodes earlier when Superboy went to Metropolis and tried to save a school bus from falling off a fucking bridge, and Superman fucking shows up. This time it was Rocket that would save the bus, but I was still like, that's a throwback. Whoever recognizes that will immediately think the first fucking Superman movie when there was a big earthquake because of the missile hitting the San Andreas fault and he had to go and save everything. Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, that's one of the things that I saw that I thought it was pretty cool that actually threw it back there.
You know what? That sparked something as well. I think that Superboy is actually moving more to the right of making peace with Superman, because when he went to go rescue that baby, he had the symbol. You know, I think there was a connection there. I mean, I was like, oh, wait a minute. So he's slowly starting to understand what that symbol means.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had his Superman moment. He definitely had his Superman moment when he rescued that baby.
He definitely listened. I was like, oh wait, yeah.
It's funny because I was going to mention that too, especially when it had to do with Superman.
Yeah.
That was number 2. One of the funniest things about the episodes is when Zatanna tried to cast some magic on Clarion, and he's like, baby man.
That was hilarious.
And he said something backwards, and he slapped her, and she went flying, and I was just like, oh.
No, she said,
like, baby magic.
He said such baby magic. He said baby magic. He did this, and he's like,
he said something, and he just slapped her, and she went
he just half-wittily I was like, damn.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that was messed up. It's too bad we didn't see Clarion and Zataro.
Yeah.
I would have, because Zataro proved in all the episodes that he's been in, he's never been in trouble, he's never had problems, he was always one of the most powerful, he was always one of the most deciding things about the fucking episode. And now he had to sacrifice himself to be Dr. Fate. Which
for
was
the greater good, man.
He'll
have
for the greater good, but to save his daughter.
Pretty much.
And if you notice, it was Batman that said that he take care of my daughter. And Batman was like, you have my word.
That was it.
Well, they had a connection. A lot of people don't know that Taro is the one that taught Batman to be an escape artist. So, yeah.
One of the things, pointing back to like them just dropping like little things in the crumbs in the trail for people to go ahead and follow into future things. Rocket did show up. She did save that bus. Yes. The funny thing is that guess what? In all of the episodes where they've shown heroes going out of their way that aren't part directly of the team, that are they go out of the way and they're helping the civilians and everything during these huge events or everything else. Those heroes end up showing up again later on in the series. Yep. All right. The last time that they did that with the Revelations episode, when all of the random heroes were showing up to go ahead and help out the populace when the plants were attacking, those same heroes are going to be mentioned in the Agendas episode that's coming up. All right. Rocket is also going to end up, doing a lot of interaction with the team over the next few episodes. All right.
That Bumblebee is there too. I mean, she's in some of the episodes. We're at school.
Right.
Hey, wait! Like
now, Duncan.
They're trying to. No! You can't do that. I know who that is. I know who that is. But that's right now. That's later.
Yeah. But that's for much later down the road.
That was the thing about the episode that made it a lot of fun. You saw all of this interaction. You saw the action. You saw the throwbacks. And you felt connected to the episode as a whole because of all of that. It was just, the writing of it was brilliant. The interactions were brilliant. The battle sequence was brilliant. And even the sacrificing of Zataro to Dr. Fate, still brilliant. Still brilliant as hell. I'm not going to take anything away from this episode. And Captain Marvel was very important in the episode, even though it was kind of subtle, but he still played an important role here.
He played,
Uncle Dudley disappeared. When he was in that plane and the chick disappeared, that was hilarious too.
Yeah.
She turned 18 at midnight.
It's like, again, this is, like I said, this is one of those reasons why I don't want to. I'm only going to say one line about this, and I don't want us to jump into it too much. I don't want us to jump into it after that because it's that's a whole other episode or video's worth of material and everything. But this really kind of illustrates why a lot of people have been saying for a long time, look, let the animation people have a crack at the live action movies. Okay.
Right,
and that's really all I'm going to say about that.
We'll be here.
That's the end. Yeah, that's the end.
Yeah, that's we can continue on for another 3 hours about that. Believe me, folks. But to go ahead and wrap this one up, that's pretty much our review for Young Justice Season 1, Episode 19, Misplaced. If it's not obvious by now, yes, we like this particular episode a lot, okay? We want to know what you thought about the episode. Also, what did you think about our review? Were we off base? Did we miss something? You can always go ahead and let us know by leaving us a comment below. While you're at it, if you're so kind, go ahead and mash on that like button. We would greatly appreciate it. And if you really like what we're doing here and you want to stick around, you want to see whenever we put out other videos, whether it be more reviews or talking about other geek stuff or game news or other things like that, I do highly suggest you go ahead and subscribe and turn on those notifications, and then you'll know whenever we go ahead and drop out a video on any of our channels. With that all said, we're going to go ahead and finish up and wrap up all our bullshit on Young Justice Season 1, Episode 19, Misplaced, right here. I am the Reverend.
The Theme here.
And I'm Grey Mouse 1.
all forms of entertainment has the right to exist, even if you don't like it. Credits.